New York 2002, the gleaming show floor of the International Auto Show. McLaren Performance Technologies unveils something extraordinary. A Lincoln LS with 350 horsepower, a screaming supercharged V8, and a 6-speed manual transmission. The specs promise 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. BMW M5 performance, Mercedes E55 AMG territory, but wrapped in American luxury. The automotive press goes wild. This is it, the hot rod Lincoln that could save Ford's struggling luxury brand. There's just one problem. This car will never be built. And that decision? It might have doomed Lincoln forever. The rise. Let's rewind to understand how we got here. In the late 1990s, Lincoln wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. By 1998, Lincoln became the best-selling luxury brand in America. The Navigator was a cultural phenomenon. The brand printed money. Ford's luxury division seemed unstoppable. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. While BMW, Mercedes, and Audi were building driver-focused sports sedans that appealed to younger buyers, Lincoln was still catering to the same aging demographic that bought town cars. The average Lincoln buyer was in their 60s. The brand desperately needed to evolve or die. Enter Jacques Nasser, Ford's ambitious CEO, and his grand vision. The premier automotive group Ford had acquired Jaguar, Volvo, Land Rover, and Aston Martin. Nasser believed Ford could leverage this empire to transform Lincoln into a genuine competitor against the Germans. The centerpiece of this strategy was the DEW 98 platform, a sophisticated rear-wheel drive chassis that would underpin everything from the Jaguar S-Type to the retro Ford Thunderbird, and most importantly, the all-new Lincoln LS, the Gambit. The Lincoln LS was unlike anything the brand had ever built. Rear-wheel drive, independent rear suspension, German-inspired design by Helmuth Schrader, a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, available with a V8 and, shockingly for Lincoln, a 5-speed manual transmission. When it launched in 2000, the automotive press loved it. Finally, an American sports sedan that could actually compete. Road testers praised its handling, its balance, its potential. But there was a catch. The 3.9-liter V8 produced just 252 horsepower. The BMW 3 Series had more punch. The Mercedes C-Class felt quicker. Lincoln had built a chassis capable of greatness, but hadn't given it the engine it deserved. And that's where McLaren Performance Technologies saw an opportunity. The supercharged solution. McLaren Performance Technologies, not the Formula One team, but a separate engineering company with 3 decades of powertrain expertise, approached Lincoln with a proposition they could fix the LS. Their solution was elegant and brutal. Bolt an Eaton supercharger to the 3.9-liter V8, add twin intercoolers, and mate it to a proper Tri-Mex 6-speed manual. The result? 350 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. Performance that would genuinely rival the BMW M5. The package would be offered in 3 stages. Stage 1. Intake, exhaust, wheels, and tires for $5,000. Stage 2. The full supercharger kit with upgraded brakes and suspension for $12,000. Stage 3. The 6-speed manual for an additional $6,000. At the 2002 New York Auto Show, McLaren unveiled their creation, the LSE. The Lincoln Sport Edition. Steve Rossi, McLaren's CEO, stood on stage and made a bold declaration. There is no serious American sports sedan, and we're here to make it happen. We want to be the hot rod Lincoln guys. The automotive world took notice. Here was a Lincoln that could accelerate faster than a Corvette of the era. A luxury sedan with genuine performance credentials. The solution Lincoln desperately needed. McLaren projected sales of 500 units in the first year. They planned to expand to the Navigator and Aviator next. This was supposed to be the beginning of Lincoln's performance revolution. The betrayal. But then something happened. Or rather, nothing happened. Behind the scenes at Ford's premier automotive group, a battle was raging. Jaguar executives were furious. They saw the supercharged Lincoln LS as a direct threat to their own S-Type R, which used a similar supercharged engine producing 390 horsepower. Jaguar had spent decades building its reputation as a luxury performance brand. And here was Lincoln, Ford's American division, about to undercut them with a cheaper, almost as fast alternative. The complaints from Coventry were relentless. Jaguar argued that Lincoln's success would come at their expense, that it would dilute the brand hierarchy Ford had carefully constructed, that it would cannibalize sales of Jaguar's most important models. And Ford management, already sympathetic to its British acquisitions, made a choice. They killed the project. McLaren had planned to offer the Supercharged LS through Lincoln dealerships, but they could only convince a handful of dealers to actually sell the cars. Without factory support, without a nationwide network, the business case collapsed. The McLaren LS never made it past the prototype stage. The downfall. The consequences were swift and brutal. In 2003, the LS received a mid-cycle refresh. The V6 got a modest bump to 232 horsepower. The V8 climbed to 280 horsepower. But the manual transmission discontinued. The special edition McLaren version canceled. Worse, Lincoln abandoned any plans for a genuinely sporty LS. The interior remained mediocre. The price kept climbing, sales began to crater. By 2004, Jacques Nasser was gone from Ford, forced out after the disastrous Explorer rollover crisis. With him went Lincoln's strongest advocate for genuine sports sedans. The LS languished, unloved, and underdeveloped. In 2006, Lincoln pulled the plug on the LS entirely. The DEW 98 platform, that sophisticated rear-drive chassis, was never used for a next-generation Lincoln sports sedan. Instead, Ford directed resources toward front-wheel drive platforms and SUVs. The opportunity to build an American BMW competitor evaporated. But the damage went far beyond one canceled car. Lincoln sales peaked in 2000 at over 230,000 units. By 2009, they had fallen to just 82,000. The brand had lost its way, stuck between its traditional elderly buyers and a younger demographic it could never quite capture. The what-ifs. Here's what makes this story particularly tragic. The pieces were all there. The McLaren LS wasn't some pie-in-the-sky concept. It was a functioning prototype with a proven supercharger kit and real performance numbers. Multiple examples were built. Some wealthy enthusiasts even commissioned their own versions through independent shops. Imagine if Ford had shown courage. If they'd told Jaguar to compete on merit rather than protection. If they'd given Lincoln the performance halo car it desperately needed, a 350 horsepower Lincoln LS with a manual transmission would have been the automotive equivalent of a moonshot for an American luxury brand. It would have attracted press coverage, enthusiast buyers, younger customers. It would have transformed Lincoln's image from geriatric luxury liner to credible performance contender. And it could have set the template for the future. A performance navigator with 500 horsepower, a Lincoln muscle car to compete with the Cadillac CTS-V, an entire performance sub-brand that could have evolved alongside the Germans. Instead, Lincoln spent the next 2 decades in the wilderness. Today, Lincoln sells around 80,000 vehicles per year in the United States, barely a third of what they moved at their peak. The brand has no sedans at all, just SUVs and crossovers. No manual transmissions, no performance models. They've completely abandoned the sports sedan segment they once tried to conquer. Meanwhile, Cadillac, their crosstown rival, took the opposite approach. They built the CTS-V with 556 horsepower, the ATS-V with twin turbos and a manual. They proved American luxury brands could build genuine performance cars. And Lincoln? They're still trying to find their identity. The McLaren LS remains one of automotive history's greatest what-ifs, a supercharged secret that could have changed everything, a $12,000 performance package that might have saved a legendary brand. But Ford made their choice. They chose to protect Jaguar's feelings over Lincoln's future. They chose corporate politics over bold vision. They chose safety over risk. And Lincoln has been paying the price ever since. Sometimes the biggest mistakes aren't the chances you take, they're the chances you refuse to take. The supercharged Lincoln LS that McLaren built still exists in a handful of private collections. Occasionally, one surfaces at a car show or auction. When it does, enthusiasts gather around and wonder what could have been. 350 horsepower, 6-speed manual, American luxury with genuine performance, the hot rod Lincoln that should have saved the brand, but never got the chance.